Before the glitz, the glamour, and the controversy, Sean P. Diddy Combs was just a young man with big dreams in Harlem. Born in 1969, his life took a tragic turn early when his father, Melvin Combs, was murdered in 1972, a moment that would shape Diddy's relentless ambition. Growing up in a single-parent household, he learned the value of hard work from his mother, Janice, who worked tirelessly to provide a better future for her son. In the late 1980s, Diddy enrolled at Howard University, where he began throwing legendary parties, showcasing his talent for organizing and promoting. It wasn't long before he caught the attention of Uptown Records, where he earned a prestigious internship. There, Diddy quickly rose through the ranks, proving himself as a talent director with a keen eye for the next big thing. But his real breakthrough came in 1993 when he founded Bad Boy Entertainment. With marquee artists like the Notorious B.I.G., Faith Evans, and 112, Diddy revolutionized hip-hop, blending street sensibilities with mainstream appeal. Bad Boy became synonymous with success, churning out hit after hit and transforming the music industry. Diddy didn't stop at music. He launched the Sean John fashion line in 1998, redefining urban style and earning accolades, including a CFDA award for Menswear Designer of the Year. By the early 2000s, he had expanded into spirits with K-Rock, cementing his status as a cultural and business icon. For many, Diddy wasn't just a mogul. He was the epitome of the American dream, a self-made man who turned adversity into a multi-million-dollar empire. As Diddy's empire grew, so did the whispers surrounding his lifestyle. Known for throwing extravagant parties attended by A-list celebrities, his events became the stuff of legend. But beneath the glittering surface, rumors began to swirl about what really went on behind closed doors. Diddy's infamous parties were as much about exclusivity as they were about excess. Everyone who was anyone wanted an invitation. From Hollywood icons to rising music stars, the guest list was a who's who of fame and fortune. But over time, stories of strange and inappropriate behavior began to emerge. Former attendees have described the events as anything but ordinary. Some claimed the parties escalated into wild nights involving questionable activities, while others alleged a much darker side. Allegations ranged from excessive drug use to misconduct, with murmurs of coercion and power plays lurking in the background. By the late 1990s, these rumors had begun to seep into the public consciousness, but they were often dismissed as tabloid gossip or envy-fueled fabrications. Still, incidents like the 1999 nightclub shooting would only fuel speculation that Diddy's world wasn't as glamorous as it seemed. The line between business and personal life also began to blur. Relationships with high-profile figures like Jennifer Lopez were splashed across headlines, while his dealings with bad boy artists occasionally raised eyebrows. Critics questioned whether Diddy's ambition and influence were paving the way for unchecked power. For years, Diddy seemed untouchable, his charisma and success shielding him from serious scrutiny. But the whispers of scandal never fully disappeared, instead growing louder with each new controversy, waiting for the moment when they could no longer be ignored. By the early 2000s, Sean P. Diddy Combs was no longer just a music mogul. He was a cultural force. Yet, as his fame grew, so did the shadows cast by unsettling allegations. For years, rumors of misconduct and abuse swirled around Diddy, but few dared to speak openly. That changed in 2023. In November of that year, Cassandra Ventura, better known as Cassie, filed a bombshell lawsuit. The lawsuit details shocking allegations, including years of abuse, manipulation, and coercion. Cassie accused Diddy of sexual assault, physical violence, and even threats of arson against individuals she interacted with. She painted a picture of a man who allegedly used his power and influence to control every aspect of her life. The lawsuit didn't just focus on their personal relationship. Cassie claimed she was coerced into participating in acts of trafficking and was threatened when she tried to break free. The accusations were chilling, painting a portrait of a systematic pattern of abuse that extended beyond their romantic relationship. But what made the allegations even more striking was the speed with which they were resolved. Within 24 hours, the lawsuit was settled for an undisclosed amount, sparking speculation about what evidence might have prompted such a rapid agreement. Cassie's courage to come forward acted as a catalyst. In the months that followed, other individuals began to file their own lawsuits, sharing stories of alleged abuse and exploitation. Among them was Rodney Jones, a music producer who claimed to have witnessed and experienced coercion firsthand. He even alleged that Diddy maintained hidden cameras at his properties, capturing incriminating footage of guests and employees. By early 2024, the allegations had reached a tipping point. Federal authorities raided Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami, reportedly seizing digital evidence, drugs, and firearms. The raids confirmed what many had feared. This was no longer just a series of civil suits, but a criminal investigation of unprecedented scope. As the floodgates opened, more accusers stepped forward, each with stories of abuse, control, and fear. What had once been whispered rumors now became an avalanche of allegations that threatened to bring down one of hip-hop's most iconic figures. By 2024, Sean P.Diddy Combs was no longer facing just rumors or civil lawsuits. He was at the center of a federal criminal investigation. On March 25th, federal agents raided his homes in Los Angeles and Miami, simultaneously executing search warrants in a move described as tactical and unprecedented. The raids revealed a trove of evidence, including illegal firearms with defaced serial numbers, large quantities of drugs, and perhaps most damningly, digital files that reportedly contained video footage of the alleged misconduct. Investigators believed these recordings could corroborate claims of abuse, coercion, and trafficking made by multiple accusers. The charges filed against Diddy were staggering in scope: racketeering, sex trafficking, and interstate transportation for prostitution. Federal prosecutors alleged that Diddy led a criminal enterprise that spanned years, using his business empire as a cover to facilitate illegal activities. Central to the case were the so-called freak-offs, lavish parties that allegedly involved drugs, coercion, and sexual exploitation. Prosecutors argued that these events were carefully orchestrated, with participants often being transported across state lines and pressured into performing acts against their will. Despite the severity of the allegations, Diddy's legal team vehemently denied all charges, claiming that the parties were consensual gatherings of adults. His defense highlighted Diddy's cooperative demeanor, pointing to his willingness to voluntarily appear in court. However, federal prosecutors painted a starkly different picture, presenting Diddy as a man who used his wealth and influence to silence victims and evade accountability. They argued that he posed a danger to the community and a flight risk, successfully convincing the judge to deny bail. As Diddy awaited trial, the case continued to grow in complexity. New allegations surfaced, and the federal government hinted at the possibility of further indictments involving co-conspirators. For Diddy, this wasn't just a legal battle. It was a fight for his legacy and freedom. And for the accusers, it was a chance to finally hold one of the industry's most powerful figures accountable. As the legal storm around Sean P. Diddy Combs intensified, the entertainment industry began grappling with the fallout. Diddy, once celebrated as a pioneer of hip-hop and a cultural icon, was now radioactive. Celebrities, record labels, and brands that once clamored to associate with him started distancing themselves. The silence from many of his peers was deafening. High-profile figures who had previously worked with Diddy avoided public comments, and some even quietly removed photos and mentions of him from their social media pages. The few who did speak out expressed shock and disbelief, while others, like 50 Cent, took the opportunity to say, "I told you so." The allegations also ignited broader conversations about power dynamics and accountability in the music industry. Critics pointed to a culture of silence, where misconduct by powerful figures is often overlooked or dismissed. Some artists and insiders claimed that they had long suspected issues surrounding Diddy, but were afraid to speak out. Despite the backlash, there were still those who defended Diddy. Loyal fans and a handful of industry veterans argued that the allegations were exaggerated or opportunistic, framing the lawsuits as a coordinated attempt to take down a black cultural icon. This divide highlighted the complexities of separating the art from the artist. Meanwhile, the accusations against Diddy cast a long shadow over his body of work. Streaming platforms and radio stations quietly reduced the prominence of his music, and some collaborators reconsidered their association with his projects. Even his iconic branding, Bad Boy Entertainment, was questioned, with debates over whether the name itself foreshadowed his alleged behavior. As Diddy remained in federal custody, the industry's response served as a stark reminder of how quickly the tides can turn. The mogul who once epitomized success was now a cautionary tale of unchecked power and its potential to unravel everything. As the legal battles against Sean P. Diddy Combs unfolded, the conversation shifted to his legacy. Could the man who shaped an era of music, fashion, and culture ever reclaim his place in the public's admiration? Or had the allegations permanently tarnished his name? For decades, Diddy was more than a mogul. He was a cultural architect. From producing iconic tracks that defined hip-hop, to building a multi-million-dollar empire with Sean John, C-Rock, and Bad Boy Entertainment, his contributions were undeniable. But as new details emerged about the allegations against him, many began to question whether those accomplishments could ever be viewed the same way again. The fallout from the lawsuits and criminal charges was swift. Some collaborators vowed never to work with him again, while others quietly scrubbed his name from their projects. For fans, it was an emotional reckoning. Could they still celebrate the man who gave the world unforgettable music, while acknowledging the harm he allegedly caused? The accusations also reignited debates about power and accountability in the entertainment industry. Was Diddy's rise to success an inspiring story of perseverance, or did it enable a dangerous culture of excess and impunity? Critics argued that his case was part of a larger pattern of abuse among powerful men in entertainment. Yet, for all the backlash, Diddy's defenders remained steadfast. They pointed to his philanthropy, his impact on black culture, and his role in breaking barriers within the music industry. Some claimed the accusations were a coordinated effort to take down a black icon at the height of his influence. No matter the outcome of the trial, one thing is clear: Sean Combs' legacy will never be the same. The man once celebrated as the king of hip-hop now stands as a polarizing figure, one whose impact on culture is undeniable, but whose personal life may forever overshadow his professional achievements. As Sean P. Combs sits behind bars awaiting trial, the stakes couldn't be higher. The federal charges he faces, racketeering, sex trafficking, and interstate transportation for prostitution, carry the potential for decades behind bars. For a man who once stood at the pinnacle of success, the trial could mark the final chapter in his fall from grace. Federal prosecutors have been methodical, leveraging evidence collected during raids on Diddy's homes. Among the most damning are videos reportedly showing victims being coerced into illegal acts. Prosecutors allege these recordings, along with testimonies from accusers, establish a pattern of abuse that spanned over a decade. For Diddy's defense team, the challenge is immense. Their strategy hinges on portraying the allegations as exaggerated or opportunistic. They claim the parties and interactions were consensual, and argue that Diddy's larger-than-life persona has made him an easy target for lawsuits. But, with the weight of evidence and multiple accusers corroborating each other's stories, the odds seem stacked against him. As the trial date approaches, the ripple effects are already being felt across the industry. Speculation looms over whether prominent celebrities and former collaborators will be called to testify. Could they reveal new details, or might they implicate themselves in the process? The trial threatens to expose not just Diddy, but an entire culture of secrecy and complicity in the entertainment world. Whatever the outcome, this trial represents a watershed moment for accountability in the music industry. If Diddy is convicted, it will send a clear message that even the most powerful figures cannot escape justice. If he is acquitted, it may reignite debates about the challenges of prosecuting high-profile cases and the blurred lines of power and consent. For fans and observers alike, the trial is about more than just Diddy. It's a test of how society confronts the legacies of those who wield enormous influence. Can the good they've created ever outweigh the harm they've done? Or is accountability the ultimate measure of a person's legacy?